And so now we're moving over to Texas, and we're going to talk to Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Are you there?
Hi, doctor. How are you?
I'm doing well. How may we help you today?
So I was saying that I wasn't sure exactly how to ask this question.
Okay.
I know that we've talked a few times. One of the fears that I had were about my daughters, 12 and 25, finding out about the affair, in which my 12-year-old did at the beginning of August.
Mm-hmm.
She found screenshots that I had of their conversation. And it wasn't until the beginning of October that we learned that she saw them through her therapist, went into a depression, didn't want to talk or see dad, did self-harm, told a friend that she just didn't want to live anymore. So we've been doing lots of counseling. And finally, last week, he was able to sit her down and finally apologize to her and take accountability for his actions, and that we are working on our marriage together because we care about each other and love each other. But he's having a very difficult time understanding their anger at him and why they don't want to talk to him.
And this is both children.
Is getting married.
Okay, so it's the 25-year-old and the 12-year-old. Neither one of them want to talk to him. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, is the affair over?
According to him, it is.
Do you believe that?
I'm like 80%.
Okay.
That I believe it. He's been more attentive. We've had more intimate conversations.
Good.
Trying to work on our symptoms, but he still doesn't want to do anything, counseling, reading books, going through any workshops. It's more he's trying to process everything on his own.
How old is he?
So the empathy side of him, he's going to be 46 this week.
Okay. You say he doesn't understand why they're angry. Is it that he doesn't understand or that he's not willing to accept the fact that they're angry? Which one do you think it is?
He really just doesn't understand. I think he's accepted that they're upset at his actions, but he doesn't understand why they've taken it so personal.
Okay. And in the conversations that he's had with them, have they tried to explain to him why?
No. My 25-year-old, she's getting married in July, and right now she's daddy's girl. Both of them are daddy's girls. So they had him on this pedestal as being perfect. He is other than this, he has been the most amazing husband and father anybody could ever ask for, which is one of the reasons why I've been working so hard.
Do you know why the girls have not told him why they're so angry with him?
The 25-year-old is just extremely disappointed in his actions, and that he didn't take our youngest into consideration, that he's teaching at the same school that she goes to, and that our youngest has to walk the halls with both of them. That she didn't take into account me and our family and our lives. And what
but she's told you that, but she hasn't told him that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Why won't she tell him that?
She's extremely angry.
I understand she's angry.
And full of rage.
But why won't she tell him why she's angry?
I think she is scared to actually look at him and say what she wants to say.
What's she afraid of?
That she'll break down and be emotional. And she wants to stay angry at him right now.
Oh, so what I'm hearing you say is she's afraid that if she does, that somehow he will make it better and she won't have a reason to be angry anymore. That's what I just heard you say. Is that what you meant?
That's what I think. Okay. But she won't. She just keeps telling me that she's not ready.
And what do you say when she says that?
When I tell her that she has every right to feel what she feels, but that he is still her father, and he's my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves her, and I love him.
I understand that. So are you afraid that if they
And
do
that
confront their father with what they feel, that somehow it's going to mess up your marriage? Is that what you're afraid of?
there is a part of me that things would go back to normal where they become a priority and not necessarily us. But at the same time, it's making it that much more challenging for us because we can't sit down as a family. We can't do things as a family. And I can see that he's hurting and I don't know how to help him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to throw anything in his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to be very patient and calm and just understanding that he's going to have to work through his
Mm-hmm.
own stuff.
Okay, tell me if I'm hearing this correctly. Tell me if I'm hearing correctly. What I'm hearing you say is that you have some fear that if the girls do confront him, it's going to mess things up a little bit for you and the reconciliation process you're going through.
There is a little bit of fear, but I'm still wanting my girls to talk to him and work things out. Now, he's talked to the 12-year-old
Mm-hmm.
and took accountability and responsibility and apologized.
Mm-hmm.
She still won't talk to him. She's now finally getting in the car as long as I'm there or for a quick ride somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but she won't interact and she won't tell him how she feels about anything.
Okay. Now, Kimberly, you're the
I still want them to forgive.
You want them to what?
And that's where
I'm
I've
sorry?
been coming from.
She wants
forgive.
them to forgive.
You want them to forgive. Okay. If there's going to be forgiveness, and Kimberly's a psychologist here, so we're going to bring her in. My PhD is not in psychology. Kimberly's master's degree is. Kimberly, you're also a daughter, and so that gives you some comprehension of the things here. Then if she's wanting, if Lynn here wants to help the husband and the daughters, wouldn't it make sense to encourage the girls, look, if we're going to get past this, if there's going to be some growth, we're going to need to have a conversation where you do tell Dad what you feel. Mm-hmm. And also be having a conversation with him saying, I realize that this is going to be uncomfortable for you. But if you really want to bring things back together with the daughters, which, and I can understand some of her fear is, well, if that blows up, then maybe things blow up with the marriage. I get that. But if you're really going to reconcile with the daughters, then you need to be sitting down with them one at a time or together, whichever's the wisest in that situation, and ask them, what is it that you feel? I know it's probably going to hurt me to hear it, but I need to hear what you really feel, and I'm ready to do that. Am I off track to think that? I'll let you, the psychologist, speak to that, please.
No, you're not off track. The issue is that it's the wife asking us this, not the husband, right? So how does she communicate what her daughters need to him without him getting defensive or angry or even just believing that she's right that's one part of this. Mm-hmm. The second part is, she mentioned that one of the daughters at least has hesitation about even confronting him to begin with, which I'm sure the counselor, I'm not sure, but I would hope that the counselor is pushing through that in the individual counseling sessions of what was the relationship like before the affair even happened, because there's some reason the daughter has a block there where she doesn't want to be open with her dad about that. And it could just be that, she doesn't want him to get mad. She doesn't want him to leave again. She doesn't want to feel like it's her fault. It could simply be that. There's a ton of things that are just going on in it. But the bottom line is, yes, that relationship, the father, ideally, since he's the more mature, he's the father, should be the one to pursue it if the daughters aren't. Mm-hmm. But how do you get that to happen when he's not asking that?
Well, that's what I'm thinking is, I agree that hearing it from the wife can be where, okay, maybe you're not seeing this right. Why should I believe you? But because of the fact that she is being talked to by the daughters and he's not. And I get it. She said, I don't want to throw it in his face. I don't want you to throw it in his face either. Right. I don't see any value in that. But when you're having a conversation that's open and honest to say, your girls are hurting. Well, I don't know what that noise was I just heard. Was that my watch? Apparently it's time for me to get up. My watch is telling me it's time to get up. Sorry about that. It's to say to him, your girls are hurting, and I know you're not going to like this conversation, but the way to help them get past the hurt is to start a conversation where you can encourage them to be open and honest with you. And it's going to be painful for everybody, but it's the path to healing.
Yes. It's just that. Typically, when a husband is going to his wife or a wife is going to her husband to talk about things like this, it is done typically in the worst ways possible, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things where a lot of the principles we teach at Marriage Helper about how to approach your spouse about this, that, or the other, the smart contact principles we talk about, a lot of times people just view that in terms of being separated, but the principles that we teach are principles that should go into all of the areas of how you communicate with your spouse. You want to make sure that it's the right timing, that you didn't just have a fight. You want to watch your tone of voice. I mean, there's just so many parts of it to just smart guides to communication with your spouse on anything that's touchy, you know, that you can implement here to make sure you do the best that you can to make sure that the conversation goes as well as it can go.